From the News Center of Freedom Communications Incorporated. Good evening and a warm welcome to Freedom Evening News Basket. 45 minutes of all of the latest captivating news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Today is Tuesday, 19th September 2023. My name is Hagar Gonda. I'm covering tonight's edition of the news program. In the top developments we following, President George Weah paused to address the opening of the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly this Wednesday, expected to reassure the world of his unfinished commitment to uphold a free, fair, inclusive, and transparent election comes October 10. House Speaker Dr. Boffa Chimaras calls for justice in the attempted murder case of young Jessica Lloyd involving an American national Lucas Richard. Ministry of Commerce and Industry in partnership with the Business Startup Center with support from the UNDP Liberia through its Livelihood and Employment Creation Project conduct business skill training and pitching for 300 youth startup businesses in outside of Liberia. Police in Nigeria says 5 officers have been killed during an attack in Omo State in the southeast of Nigeria, according to the BBC. The detail of these developments, plus other local and international stories, the voices of those behind the news, the passion of life sports, hopefully, I all anticipated on tonight's edition of the program. At this juncture, we'll cross over to the news center where Anthony Phillips is seated to bring us the bulletin of news. Anthony, good evening.
Good evening, Hagar, and good evening, everyone. President George Weah is joining over 140 world leaders to attend the opening of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly this Wednesday. The UNGA is an annual event that brings together global leaders for a high-level debate that retrospects and discusses pertinent war issues. According to an executive mansion release, the Liberian leader will take the podium this Wednesday to address the assembly. During his address, President Weah is expected to reassure the world of his unflinching commitment to uphold a free, fair, inclusive, and transparent elections comes October 10 general and presidential elections. He is also expected to call on the world for collective effort in addressing climate change, democracy, and action to attaining the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as addressing terrorism in Africa and the world at large. The 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly is being held under the theme Rebuilding Trust and Reenacting Global Solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 agenda and its SDGs towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Boffa Chimaras, is calling for justice in the attempted murder case of young Jessica Lloyd. According to report, an American national identified as Lucas Richey recently attempted to murder Jessica Lloyd after he split her throat with a knife in Barnesville. Speaker Chimaras intimated that the domestic violence method against the young Liberian lady, Jessica, contravenes the laws of Liberia, including other international treaties. He maintained that prosecuting suspect Richey will prevent such reoccurrence and protect the rights of all Liberians. The speaker made the comments Tuesday after he visited and identified with victim Jessica Lloyd at the John F. Kennedy Medical Hospital. Meanwhile, the Liberian National Police said it is investigating the American national on allegation of criminal attempt to commit murder and aggravated assault. She stated that they then drove to the road leading to the St. Michael School in Barnesville to get on the route towards Douala. The victim narrated further that after Lucas drove past all the crowded places, she told him they should just find place around Iran and talk instead of going further. The General Secretary of the Universal Peace Foundation Liberia, that's Liberia chapter, Pandora's Allison, has lauded the founder of the organization, Dr. Song Min Moon, for its support to maintaining peace across the globe. Speaking with Freedom News Monday, ahead of the 11th Holy Session anniversary of the organization, Allison said the Federation has demonstrated the reason for its establishment. He added that as a global network of individuals and institutions, they have worked towards the attainment of peace through effective engagement. Honduras Allison also stated that in every setting where the foundation or the federation is functional, it confers on people and institutions who work to maintain peace and ambassadorial roles. The Secretary General of the Universal Peace Foundation, Liberia chapter, also disclosed that the organization is working in consultation with the United Nations. Montserrat County Electoral District Number 12 Representative candidate Abdul Rahman Bari has ended a day-long stakeholder symposium among leaders from 17 communities in the district. The symposium, which was held under the theme "Election is Everyone's Concern," brought together leaders and candidates from each of the 17 communities. Addressing leaders from various communities within the district, Representative Hopeful Abdul Rahim Bari said the symposium is intended for leaders to make the right decision comes the October 10 legislative and presidential elections. The District 12 representative candidate, Bari, disclosed that his ambition is not just to win the upcoming election, but he wants to see change in the district. Meanwhile, Abdurrahman Bari, however, committed himself to effective working on his three cardinal functions, which is oversight, lawmaking, and representation. He added that the issue of security, safe drinking water, electricity, among others, are as things he will address effectively if elected as the next lawmaker of the district. Opposition Liberia National Union presidential candidate Dr. Clarence Moniba has vowed to continue his father's legacy if elected as the country's next president. Speaking with reporters in Markibi recently, Moniba said he will continue his father's legacy if he is elected comes October 10. Moniba further disclosed that he will bring development to Liberia through agriculture, which is his major focus, stressing that every county in Liberia will grow their own crops to eliminate hunger in the country. The Liberia National Union presidential candidate asserted that when elected, he will also address roads connectivity, including healthcare, among others. He, however, noted that the country will need $4 billion United States dollars to improve its electricity connectivity across the country. A representative aspirant of District Number 3, Montserrat County, T. Wonoke, has promised more development when elected comes October 10 general and presidential elections. Speaking to this station Monday, Wonoke labeled himself as a transformer figure, noting that he does not do projects only for political popularity, but instead for the love of his country. He also explained that citizens of District 3 will only become the primary beneficiary of his development, adding that he has and will be developmental throughout the country. Wonoke further noted that he is confident he will be elected as the next representative of District 3 as his messages of peace and development has resonated with the citizen. T. Wonoke, who is also the executive director and founder of the Foundation for Human Rights Defense International, has over the years ensured that human rights issues across the country are addressed, while he has implored several Liberians. Opposition Unity Party standard bearer Joseph Boaka and his vice standard bearer Jeremiah Kuhn Monday paid a visit at the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital to wish speedy recovery to victims who sustained injuries during the official launch of UP's 2023 campaign at the Antoinette Totman Stadium. Speaking with doctors at the hospital, the Unity Party's tenor bearer was given assurance that the patients who are responding to treatment will be taken care of properly. Ambassador Bouaka also visited other patients who were at the hospital, wishing them speedy recovery. Meanwhile, the Unity Party's tenor bearer extended sympathy to family members of one of his supporters who lost his life during the campaign process. And this last development, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, in partnership with the Business Startup Center, with support from UNDP through the Livelihood and Employment Creation Project, has conducted business skills training and pitching for 300 youth startup businesses. The 300 young people were selected to participate in the two-day exercise on the 13th and 15th of September 2023 for startup gains of US $500 at the close of the application process for the Young Startup Business Playing Competition of 2023. The participants were drawn from 7 counties: Montserrado, Grand Bassa, Grand Cape Mount, Grand Jide, Sando, Nimba, and Lofa counties after being selected from a total number of 1,739 young people who applied. During the training, the youth were introduced to business and financial planning and presented their business ideas to a panel of judges in the hope of securing the US $500 grant. They also benefit from coaching and membership support when development and refining their business ideas. Well, Hagar, that's the news bulletin. Is back to you for the continuation of Freedom News Basket.
Many thanks to the man, Anthony Phillips, for the news bulletin. It is a regular feature on Freedom Evening News Basket. He will return later on in the news to bring us the regional developments. But if you're just joining us, a reminder that you're listening to a 45-minute production of World Package News about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. In one of the top developments, we're following President George Weah Paul to address the opening of the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly this Wednesday, expected to reassure the world of his unfinished commitment to uphold a free, fair, and transparent elections comes October 10. Let's bring you the voices of those behind the news, beginning with this development. Opposition Liberia National Union presidential candidate Dr. Clarence Moniba has vowed to continue his father's legacy if elected as the country's next president. Speaking with reporters in Margibi recently, Moniba said he would continue his father's legacy if he is elected comes October 10, 2023. Moniba further disclosed that he will bring development to Liberia through agriculture, which is his major focus, stressing that every county in Liberia will grow their own crops to eliminate hunger in the country.
There's so many different activities. I've been fortunate enough to have helped to contribute to the development of Liberia. But normally in Liberia, what I always tell people is that if you don't come on radio, you cost plenty. If you don't steal plenty government money, people do not know you. And so, but we have been in this country, we have been working in this country. So I'm proud, of who I am. I'm proud that I'm in a position to continue my father's legacy, because my father was very clear that Liberia will be a great country one day, and that's what I'm fighting for. That's who I am. That's who I am. Anyway, here's my platform, and I'll be very clear about it. In agriculture, we will insist that there are 15 counties in Liberia. Every single county in Liberia will be responsible to grow something for the people of Liberia to eat. So I'll give the example. Last year, we imported $7 million worth of pepper from Guinea. Are you trying to tell me that we in Liberia cannot grow our own pepper? So we will insist that every county will be subsidized, will be supported with mechanized farming, with modern farming, that they will produce enough rice to feed the people of Liberia. We are very clear on that. You can no longer graduate from high school without 2 years of technical and vocational training. No longer will we do that without 2 years of technical and vocational training. So when you graduate from high school, not only will you be a high school graduate, but you'll also have a certificate in carpentry or plumbing or electrical work or something so you can create a job for yourself and help to build this country. When we talk about road connectivity, we are also very clear. We need over $2 billion to pave all of the roads in Liberia. Depending on how you build the road, the length, the width. When we talk about the security, we have to retrain a majority, if not all, of the police people here. We have to increase their salaries. We have to decrease the salaries of lawmakers and ministers and people like that, and increase the civil servant salary. We need to increase the police people's salary. We need to give them better facilities. There's so much to be able to do in the security sector.
Clarence Moniba is the standard bearer of the Liberia National Union there speaking. The Secretary General of the Universal Peace Federation Liberia chapter, Penduras Allison, has lauded the founder of the organization, Dr. Sun Min Moon, for his support to maintaining peace across the globe. Speaking with Freedom News Monday, ahead of the 11th Holy Accession anniversary of the organization, Allison said the Federation has demonstrated the reason for its establishment. He added that as a global network of individuals and institutions, they have worked towards the attainment of peace through effective engagements.
The Universal Peace Federation is a global network of individuals and organizations, mostly interreligious organizations and other actors, working towards the attainment of peace for the world, hoping that through our engagement, the world can be a peaceful place, which provides a safe and protected place for everyone, where everybody lives in peace and feel comfortable. So the Universal Peace Federation works through a network of ambassadors for peace. So what the Universal Peace Federation does is that in its setting, wherever it is in a country, it works with people whose lifestyle, whose way of life, and what they do in society that is highly reflective of a very peaceful conduct. The Universal Peace Federation works with these people and confer on them what we call the ambassador for peace. These people come from different backgrounds. So Universal Peace Federation works with parliamentarians, it works with business actors, it works with bankers, it works with civil society actors, it works with academicians, it works with elders and other people within the traditional sector. But with the ultimate goal of bringing these people together with the sole purpose of enhancing peace in whichever locale they find themselves. And this particular movement or World Order of Peace is actually the dream of the founder, Reverend Sonia Moon, and his wife, Dr. Haja Moon, both of whom established or founded this movement in 2005. One of the greatest achievements is that this organization works with the United Nations, is highly recognized and respected by the United Nations. As a matter of fact, UPF is in a consultative status with the United Nations. That means that the United Nations recognizes UPF and works with UPF in achieving some of its goals. And UPF objective is to work with the United Nations and other peace organizations to attain a world of peace. And so that is one of the major achievements.
He's the Secretary General of the Universal Peace Federation Liberia chapter, Penduras Allison, there speaking. Montserrat County Electoral District 12 Representative Kennedy Abdurrahim Barry has in a day-long stakeholders symposium among leaders from 17 communities in the district. The symposium, which was held under the theme "Election is Everyone's Business and Concern," brought together leaders and candidates from each of the 17 communities in the district. Addressing leaders from various communities within the district, Representative Hopeful Abdurrahman Barry said the symposium is intended for leaders to make the right decision comes the October 10 legislative and presidential elections.
Most of our talks today will be what is our concern as leaders of the nation of the poor, ranging from pastors, imams, community chairpersons, as per the 2023 legislative presidential election on October 10, for which we have less than 10 days to go. That's why from Adam and EJ, this is an behavior. If this land develop, it is upon the people that live on the land. If this land does not develop, it is also upon the people that live on the land. So we must take responsibility of our land being the way it is. At all times, we must refresh our mind as to ask, why are we the same way? Why is the land the same way? So if you, a community chairman, your people you are leading, children are involved into taking substances that are harmful for them, and even you, because what you are saying, and you set and allow a process of elections to go without taking a side when they direct the people, then you expect people to change. It is an iron. Changes will not come. I know there are people that will come to the door and knock. Who's that? I will. Pastor, I want to ask you. The whole election is what is the for me, a pastor, I can't talk. I wasn't going. The father who Imam, who are you supporting? Who should we support? Imam, I can't talk. I wasn't going. The father who. Our community chairman, you chairman who brother you tell where to go. I can't talk. You leave from there, allow the people to leave without a direction. Then tomorrow, bad thing happen. You set up there and you're there because for me, I'm here to ask you. Even if it is not me, take responsibility. I will not go against anybody who does not support Barry. For any reason, because you have the right to support who you want to support.
Abdurrahman Barry, however, has committed himself to effectively working on his three cardinal functions, which include oversight, law-making, and representation. He added that the issue of security, safe drinking water, electricity, among others, are things he will address effectively if elected as the next lawmaker of District 12, Mansourado County.
This was provided a disclaimer to say, for people to say that, because Barry called them, meaning they are supporting Barry. No, they told you that they came to listen. And based upon the message they get, they're going to think and rethink. I believe, I've never heard from them that they support anybody. And I'm urging them, they are leaders, they have people behind them, they should take a side to take a responsibility of directing the people that support them, because they were there by people taking decision to support them. And also, somebody who will serve as the senior official of this number 12, they must also take side, because they will not have a supervisory role over that person. That is why I'm asking them to rethink and understand that after you have examined the 21 candidates, take a side. I'm very simple. I'm in the people's mind. The basic needs of the people. There's nothing like second to order. Everything is priority. Our work as representative does not limit any form of I work with people in my district, and they have told me security is an issue. They have told me the issue of drugs taking in this district is an issue. The issue with no school is an issue. The issue with medication is an issue. Road network is an issue. Electricity, running water is an issue. So these are issues that if I'm ranging, if I'm looking at water, what is more essential? The district contains iron under the land. If even you dig a well, you find iron contents coming up, then you turn the water red. It's not good for consumption. For some of you who live in the district, And therefore, we tackle the issue of water and sewer, so we can be able to get more water running in. I am the people's choice. The people of district number 12, ranging from the CDC, the Unity Party, the ANC, and that of the other parties are all supporting me. If you check, the manager of my campaign team is from the Unity Party. The chairman of my campaign team is from the CDC. The secretary is from the ANC. I have the secretary of the team, Barry, is from the NP. I am on the PUP. The PUP that you see here today is a conglomeration of all of the colors. That is why you find our colors very unique. I support the re-election of the president, but no doubt. If you see Barry standing before you today, it's because I've been peaceful.
Abdurrahman Barry is a representative candidate there in District 12, Mansourado County. From Mansourado, District 12, cross over to District 3, Mansourado County, where a representative candidate of District 3 Montserrat County T. Wonoke has promised more developments when elected comes October 10 general and presidential elections. Speaking to this station Monday, Wonoke labeled himself as a transformational figure, noting that he does not do project only for political popularity, but instead for the love of this country. He also explained that citizens of District 3 will only become the primary beneficiary of his developments, adding that he has and will be developmental throughout the country.
Well, the people of District Number 3, I see myself as a transformational figure. I do not see myself as a District Number 3 man. I see myself as a Liberia's man, as a Liberian citizen first. Because look, this office is all the way over here in District Number 6. I got projects in District Number 2, projects in District Number 1. All across the country, I got projects. I established these projects to give employment opportunity to Liberian persons. I don't do projects for political popularity. I care about this country, and over the last 10, 15 years, my body of work is a clear evidence that I care about this country. The people of District Number 3 will only become primary beneficiary of the work that I do. We will be beginning a water reservoir to supply pipe-borne water to the two communities out of the 11 communities that will give us the most vote. We have begun several vocational school scholarship projects or regular academic school scholarship project. Right now, as we speak, we have given at least 1,200 scholarships to students in District number 3. And what we have been doing for the ordinary people in terms of fighting for justice and equality in this country, we believe that over the last several months, our message has begun to resonate with the people and that people have begun to gravitate towards us.
Wonoke is a representative candidate there in District 3, Montserrat County, speaking. Taking us now to nearly half past the hour mark, and if you're just joining us, a reminder that you're listening to 45 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at Freedom Communications Incorporated. In stories we're following tonight, President George Weah paused to address the opening of the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly this Wednesday, expected to reassure the world of his finishing commitment to uphold a free, fair, inclusive, and transparent election comes October 10. House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers calls for justice in the attempted murder case of young Jessica Loy involving an American national, Lucas Ritchie. Ministry of Commerce and Industry Liberia, in partnership with the Business Startup Center, with support from UNDP Liberia through its Livelihood and Employment Creation Project, conduct business skills training and pitching for 300 youth startup businesses. In Away from Home, police in Nigeria says 5 soldiers that's 5 officers have been killed during an attack in Omo State in the southeast of the country, according to the BBC. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we continue with more developments on the news program. Thanks for rejoining us. The Secretary General of the Governing Coalition for Democratic Change, Jefferson Koji, has termed as evil and disgrace pastors who are in the habit of preaching false messages. Though the CDC Secretary General did not name any pastor, but alleged that said people are instigating to cause trouble in the country. He noted that citizens have been suffering from that's for the past years over violence in the country, and that the country is tired with violence and does not need war, adding that never again Liberians should use violence to win elections in the country.
Peaceful shall his remain even after his victory. Like those of you who are preaching, those doomed prophets who are preaching for chaos in our country, we want to say to you that decision and that quest is there on arrival, because the Liberian people are bigger than that quest. We have witnessed and we have suffered the pain of war in this country. Our mothers were abused, our sisters were abused, our parents and our fathers was incarcerated, they were summarily executed, parents were executed in front of the watchful eye of their wife and children. Those days shall never return in this country. Never shall we return to those days. Never again that we allowed our religions to be factionalized, and you begin to call a particular factional rebel group as a particular religion responsible for that. That's the essence, and that's the essences of war in this country. We have come together, we have witnessed our past, and we will do everything possible as Liberians together, holding hands together. One thing we convinced that there is a singular God. So today, as we want to reassure our partisans, and we want to reassure our citizenry, that President Weah is a man of peace, and the Liberian people are tired of war. There are people who are beating one drum in this country. There are people who are saying that particular family members of this country, they are beginning to target them, they are beginning to wish on them. Never again should we use threat as a means to win election in this country.
For her part, Umar Sal said, though President George Weah took over the country in 2018 in a difficult time, his government has strived to keep the country on the rightful path of peace, development, economic stability, which the endorsement is manifestation that Muslims are appreciative of the level of work done across the country, which is moving the country forward.
We, the Muslims of the CDC Islamic Affairs, gather here today in order, thousand to show our support to the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Manuel Weah. We have acknowledged that when President Weah took office in 2018, things were tough and shaky, but he strived to the core to keep this nation on the right path, which ensures economy, disability, peace, and prosperity. The building of modern markets across the country, the building of 333 kilometers of road across the country, the free tuition policy of the Republic University, and paying last fees country, religion tolerance, and injustice in your government. Mr. President, today is a clear manifestation that the Muslims are appreciative of the work you are doing.
People's Unification Party Representative Kenneth Morris Bobby has vowed to fight for Todi statutory district to be considered as electoral district if he wins the elections in Montserrat County. Speaking to cross-section of citizens from several towns and villages who gathered in Yorktown as part of his campaign engagement, Bobby said for many years the people of Todi district have suffered from the hands of politicians who have benefited the citizens' vote on political rhetorics.
I'm here because of the people of Todi district. I'm here because the people of Yostan gave me seat. Because you gave me seat, I'm able to extend my friendship to other places around Yostan in Todi district. And I'm always not making shame. I am making a promise to you, honor the kitchen again. They simply I made a first promise for the road. All those things that the people of Todi district want, like Amos Corey can be pushing in my ear. We want Todi to stay on her own. Trust me today, honor the kitchen. With your power, with the power from above, Todi district will stay on her own when we are elected. Because we want for Todi to be developed. And it is not only a son from Yostar or from Manjostar or from Kunsta or from Senator can make for Todi to stay on her own. No. And Maurice Babe can come from Fender and can make Yostar to be better. And Maurice Babe can come from Fender and make sure Todi district stay on her own. Because I have the love and I have the development with inside of me. So because of the time in Todi called Yostar, you have a son called Maurice Babe. Todi is a district that have been honor represented. Let me fight. With Todi, the amount of population we have here, the amount of vote you can give the national government or election commission, you deserve better. So tell us how we have jumped into the race and make sure that we enter Todi and we have started doing things in Todi. Because you got things to tell them. What they got to tell you, when we win, we work. We not hear that thing plenty. You say you tired hearing it. The first making, we will come, I will do it. La la. They call it fla. The second we mock it, you say I will do it. Fla. They tell me there, fla. We tell you what we want to see. We want to see reality. We will be voting people as what you have done for us, then you'll be able to do big one. Nobody going to bring flyer to vote for you. So we tire with it. You are the one that giving up power. You are the one that employing us. Why is it when you employ us, we can't come back to room? Because people be ungrateful. Because it says they're coming finished, then they start coming now. You let's shine our eyes. So vote for Maurice Babe is simple because God can do everything easy for the people. And that's number 3. So you come from 1, 2, 3 and Maurice Babe. So I want to put that I go to school say down, get a shower.
On the news is the regional developments, and Anthony Philip is again seated to bring for us our regional stories.
Police in Nigeria says 5 officers have been killed during an attack in Imo State in the southeast of the country. Separatists in the area have frequently attacked or targeted police stations and government buildings. The authorities have blamed the Ban group, the indigenous people of Biafra. Were killed in the latest violence, including soldiers and members of the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, a military agency says.
Well, folks, on that note, that's how we like to draw down the curtains on tonight's edition of Freedom Evening News Basket. It has been a production of 45-minute work package news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. On today's Tuesday edition of the news program, these are the big stories that is taking us home on tonight's edition of the program. President George Weah paused to address the opening of the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly this Wednesday, expected to reassure the world of his unfinishing commitment to uphold a free, fair, inclusive, and transparent election comes October 10. House Speaker Dr. Buford Chambers calls for justice in the attempted murder case of young Jessica Loy involving an American national, Lucas Richard. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Liberia, in partnership with the Business Startup Center, with support from UNDP Liberia through its Livelihood and Employment Creation Project, conduct business skills training and pitching for 300 youth startup businesses in the country. And outside of Liberia, police in Nigeria says 5 officers have been killed during an attack in Omo State in the southeast of the country, according to the BBC. Thanks to you for your listening role. Thanks to our writers, reporters, editors, and contributors, and all those who helped in making tonight's edition of the program a success. Anthony Phillips was here with the news bulletin, inclusive of our regional development. Mavis Dape, Sada Control, ably coordinated the sound aspect on tonight's edition of the program. Rob Cruiser was behind our camera and brought us live via our Facebook feed. Thanks to Hard Work Radio in Poplar District, Kipman County. Crime Stoppers Liberia is our proud sponsor and partner on Freedom Evening News Basket. For and on behalf of the entire news team, my name is Hagar Gunnar, bidding you a pleasant good night on this Tuesday edition of the program.